Hey there, welcome back to Financial Wellness University. If this is your first time, I'd like to welcome you and please ask that you subscribe to the channel so that you will get up-to-date videos. Also by clicking that link that says the bell, actually. Click that little bell and also give me a like so that more people can see this video. Today we're looking at one of the phases, the 7 phases of financial wellness, the system that I teach within the Financial Wellness University that looks at 7 distinct things that everyone should be doing with money. And today we're looking at tracking money. And what do we do? How do we track money? Well, one of the things we can do, one of the benefits of tracking money is that you can get a raise just by getting a hold of your finances. You can give yourself a raise by tracking your income properly. Stay tuned. As I said, we're looking today at the phase called track money. And we're looking at giving ourselves a raise. I am Joe Brown, your teacher and coach on this journey of financial wellness. And today we're talking about the importance of having a budget. I don't want you to leave before you hear to the end, because you're going to learn some things that are going to improve your financial status right away. Now, before I started budgeting on a regular basis, consistent basis, now I've always been good at saying writing down certain expenses and keeping them in a ledger, but it was the expenses that I didn't write in the ledger that really led to my funds diminishing every month. Like in my ledger, I wrote down my bills, my mortgage, so I know those were paid. But what I didn't write down were the little things, the little as we might think, incidental and miscellaneous, or not necessarily miscellaneous, but just they're so small on each level that we think that they're not important, but they really are. And those things are like food, right? I'll spend $6, $7 here, $8, $10 here. What is that? But when you start to add those $6, $7 up, those $8, $10, and I started to add them up. And when I was serious about tracking my income and my expenses, I noticed that I was spending, I don't know, maybe $400 or $500 a month on food. And that's not even groceries. That's just eating out. Having a little sandwich here, getting a juice and some chips. So one of the ways that I got a hold of my income, or my expenses, I should say, one of the ways I was able to really, get control of my finances is I started to track every single thing that I spent money on. And when I did that, I realized that I was spending a lot more money than I had to spend. And I began to make some changes. A few changes is bottled water. I was spending money on bottled water instead of buying in bulk like I do now, and from like Costco or BJ's or Sam's Club, one of those big warehouses. But buying water in bulk instead of buying $1. Then you might think, well, it's only $1, but if you're spending $1 a day, that's $30 a month that you're spending just on water. I can get a case of 40 for about $4. That means I spent just a few cents a day on water now instead of $1. Now I get the amount of water for $4. I used to spend $30. That's a significant savings when you begin to multiply that by the year and by year, month by month, year by year. You realize that you can give yourself a raise simply by changing your spending habits. You can give yourself a raise by realizing, hey, instead of me spending $400 a month, I'm gonna spend $200 a month eating out, and I'm going to make my lunch. I'm going to make sure that I don't go out every meal. And guess what? That gives you a raise. That really gives you a raise, because that's $200 that was going to something else. Now you have $200 that you can allot to something else that would benefit you financially. Maybe $200 to invest, $200 to put to your emergency savings account, $200 to go to school. That's $200 times 12. That's $2,400 a year that you recoup just in one category. Now imagine if you do that for several categories. You can easily save a few $1,000s a year. If you save $5,000 a year, in 10 years you'll have $50,000. How many people would like $50,000? But a lot of people don't like tracking their income. But you have to if you want to see yourself, because otherwise you'll be like I did for so many years. You'll think you got a hold of it, but it's those little tiny expenses. Yeah, it's easy to say, well, I spent $400 on this or $150 on this. But when you're spending $5 on this and $10 on that, they add up. It's like going to the dollar store and spending $150. You defeat the whole purpose. The purpose of the dollar store is to go in and get an inexpensive item cheaper than you would going somewhere else, not to go in there and buy up all the little inexpensive items. So one tool that I used, as I said before, I used to just track it in a ledger, but now I use a app called Every Dollar. It's sponsored by the Ramsey organization. They're not paying me to make this video or paying me at all, but it's such a good app. It's such a good program that I believe if you put it to practice, you'll begin to improve in your finances. And it's organized in such a way where it puts the most important things up top. So as you move down, as I talked about before, there's certain things about your budget that, say for instance, you have a bill collector. Well, the bill collector doesn't go before your mortgage. The bill collector doesn't go before your investments. They go at the bottom after you taking care of your housing, taking care of your food, taking care of your transportation, taking care of your giving. All those type of things go first. So it's the order of give, save, and then spend. So give, save, and then spend. If you have a budget that keeps you accountable to that, then you realize that, hey, I gave myself a raise, and that, say for instance, that $200 that you save in food per month, if you had $5,000 in debt, that debt will be gone in 2 years just by recouping that little $200. Now imagine if you did that for other categories and had more debt. You could literally eliminate the bulk of your debt in a matter of a few years. And then all that money that you paid to bring down the debt is yours to spend for the rest of your life. So you got to decide, are you going to make the discipline and the sacrifice to to track it in. You're not going to perfect your budget in the first month. It might take 2 to 3 months. But as you write it down, each time you spend something, just write it down. You know what you're bringing in, unless you have so many streams of income. Then you're probably not running into the issue of running out of money. But if you have the feeling like I'm running out of money by the end of the month, or I don't know where my money is going, I feel like I don't have much left by the end of the month, then you could benefit by this exercise. And then even people with a whole lot of money should be budgeting, because you could be losing money and not know it either. And every little bit helps. So this isn't just for people with a little bit of money, but it's for anyone who wants to know more about what's going in and what's coming out. I always use the example of the person who's like a farmer and they have cattle. Well, I mean, there's rich people who have thousands of cattle. Do you say I have 5,000? I have about between 5,000 and 6,000 cattle? Or you would say I have 5,625 cattle. And when another birth comes, then you add that. But if you don't know what you have, you could be losing every day and not even realize it. And the less you have, the more you realize that, hey, my money is gone. So take advantage of tracking that income, tracking those expenses, and you'll see that you will give yourself a raise. You will literally give yourself a raise that will transform your life, pay off debt, grow wealth, and just be able to buy some of the things that you might not have been able to buy before. So I hope this has helped. Again, I ask you to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell, and share this video with somebody who you know could benefit from having a more disciplined and effective life through managing their finances well. Thank you, and God bless.